Hello guys, welcome to our blog CMS. And you can remember we did ordering by ID in our previous video. Now we can order based on our date and time. And okay, we're getting right along. If you've been following my channel from the first video and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, like, and I would love to see your comments below. So let's get started to what we have today. And as you can see, we have been doing every single thing, but there is something here we haven't touched. That is the login. Now we can't log in yet, and we can't log out, and we can't even register a user. So that's what we're going to do in this video. That's the Django authentication. Let's see how the Django authentication works. So let's go straight to the back. And first of all, I would love to create a new app. I could actually do it in the app that I've been using, that's the blog app, but I just want to for learning purposes, to just show you guys that you can actually create another app and still work on it. So let's see how we can create another app and still make use of another app. Like I said, I can actually do it in our blog app, which in our views I could actually do it here, but for learning purposes, let's see how we can do it in another way. So let's get started by creating another app. And how do we create app again? That's Python manage.py start app. I think I should name this users. Okay, I think the app was created somewhere. Okay, see our app users, but I don't actually like it. I want this to be maybe below this CMS. I don't like the way it is below our template, so I think this works alphabetically. As you can see, B, C, S, T, like B comes before C, C comes before S, S comes before T, T comes before U, but I think I will need to name this something that will make it appear above, since the Django works alphabetically. So I think I need to get rid of this first. I just want to delete it. I don't need it. It's not alphabetical. So let me give it another name. Let me try and maybe say members. Members. Okay, members. Let's see. Okay, perfect. I think M is after C is M. Okay, it's okay like this. I prefer it like this. I don't like the way it is below my template. It's better like this. So now we created a new app. We called it members. So in our members, as you can see, our view is empty. We don't have a URL. So let's just create a URL of py. So here now I have a URL of py like we did, and in the Django, if you create an app, you need to go and register it in your settings of py. So like we did initially when we created the blog, that's this blog, we had to register it. So we need to do the same thing here. We need to go and register it. We call it members and end it with a comma. So now I've registered it here. So let's come to our URL of pys. Like I told you guys earlier on, the Django has inbuilt way of making use of authentication. That's like the register, the login, and the logout. The Django has inbuilt way of doing that. So that's what we're going to see. So in our URLs of py here, so let's just say parts, and let's call this members because that's what we named it there. Members. So now, as we always do, it include. So initially, I know you'd be expecting me to just write members, like the initial we will do it members.url, but this time around, based on I want to make use of our inbuilt Django authentications, so I'm going to say it like this: Django.contrib the URLs. So this will enable us to make use of our inbuilt Django authentications, which has the registration, the login, and the logout. So we are going to see how we're going to be using that in this video. So now we have this already, the Django.contrib.auth, the URL to make use of our authentication. So we need to create another part here. So this time around, this would be our members. I can say include. So that's what we're going to now say. We're going to include members.url. So you might be wondering, why do I have two parts here linking to the same URL? Why we're doing that is because since we're making use of the Django authentication, so the Django will try and check the packages that it has in its authentication. If it sees something different from here, it will now come and check here, which is this members or URL that were created, to check if something is new there, and it will make use of that. So that's why I'm calling this. If it checks here first and it sees something different, it will come down to this one. So the ordering is okay like this. So this is how we're supposed to write it. We're supposed to call this one first before we make use of these members or URL. So now I think here is okay. We have this all set. So now in our URL, in our members URL, we don't have anything here. So let's just come here and just copy everything here, because I want to make use of that. So this is okay. I don't need this. I'll be needing that, and I'll be needing this. Well, let me just leave this like this. I'm coming. So now we have our URL in our members. So let's go straight to our view, which our view is empty. In our view, we need to like import some couple of things. Let's start with from the Django.view, import generic. So next up, we need a user creation form. So we can do that by saying the Django.contrib.auth.forms import user creation form. And next up, we need to make use of reverse lazy, so we can reverse it to the page that we want. Maybe after creating our registration or login, let's know the page to reverse it to, whether it's the home page or the article page. So we can do that by saying the Django.urls import reverse lazy. So I think this is all we need here. So let's come down here and create a class. I'll create a class and name this user register. So I think this is it. This is okay. So we can now say generic dot create view. So now down here we need to give it a form class. You know, initially in our previous video we used to create the forms of py. We will now give the names of what we want, maybe if we want all the fields and all that. But this time around, since we are making use of registration, we are trying to register a new user into this our website. So that's when I'm now going to make use of this user creation form. So next up, we need a template. As we always do, we need a template, but right now we don't have a template. So let's come down here and start by right clicking. Let's open a directory and name this registration. Inside our registration directory, let's create a HTML here and call this register.html. I think we're also going to need a login. Let's do that. So let's call this login.html. So now we have our registration.html and login.html. So let's get back to our view, and now in our template name, let's say register. So not register, registration/register. .html. Why did I say registration/register? Because register.html is in a directory, and the name of the directory is registration, so we need to call registration first before we now say register.html. So if you see these other ones, they are not in any directory, they are under the templates directory, directly under the template directory. So that's what we're calling initially. If you see our previous video, we can just call post.html, article.html, but this time around we need to first call this registration before we call the register. So now we have our view. So next up we need to work on our URL, but this time around I don't want to be doing this. I want to be calling the names. Sorry, I think we called it user register in our views. Yeah, user register. So we're going to make use of that here and call this register. And since, like, as you can remember, we're making use of class-based view, so register.asView. Let's give this a URL name. Let's call this register. I think we're getting right along now. So we have our view, we have our URL, and we have our template, but nothing is here. I think I want to copy what I have in my add post. Since it's a form, we're like trying to create a new user and it's a form, we can also make use of this form. Let's just copy all this and paste it in our registration, and let's do the same for our login. I think this is all we need. Yes, I think we are okay for now. So let's try to run our server. So in our server, as you can see, we have our home add post and we don't have a registration. So I think I want to make use of this and add our registration here. So let's go to our navbar. If you can remember our navbar.html, this is home add post. So let's call this registration. Let's say register, and you can remember how to make use of our URL. So URL single quotes, and we'll type register here. So let's go back and see what we have. Let's refresh, and we'll have our register. So let's click on it. That's nice and beautiful. So we have our registration page, we have our registration form here. So it's asking you to input your username, your password, and your confirmation password. This is nice, and if you click on this, no post actually though, let's change that. Let's call this register. Let me change this, sorry. Okay, register. So now we have our registration form and it's working perfectly. We can actually register a new user now, but first we need to also get our login. So let's go back to our navbar and add our login there. Let's call this login, and let's give this a URL. Sorry, single quotes. Let's call this login. So let's come back here and refresh. As you can see, we have a login, so let's click on the login. Voila, now we have our login page, your username and your password. If you can remember, we didn't create any view and URL for this. Like, let's go back here. We only created a URL, a view and a URL for registration, but we didn't create anyone for login. As you can see, these are our URL for registration, and this is the view. We didn't create anyone for the login, but here it sees our login. Why is that? It's because we are making use of this inbuilt the Django authentication, which we have here, this the Django.contrib.auth. This authentication, this inbuilt the Django authentication, which it has the login and the logout, so it's inbuilt already. We didn't need to do that at all. We only gave it a template, and it knows that we are using the login URL that we have in our authentication. So that's that. But now, now we have our registration, our login, but we don't have a logout yet. So how can we make use of our logout? So let's come to our settings of py. Let's come to our settings of py. I think down here in our settings of py, I think here is okay. Let's do this uppercase. Let's say login underscore redirect underscore URL. So where do you want this thing to redirect to? Let's redirect to the home page. So once we log in, it redirects to the home page. I think we need to do the same for the logout, but this time around we are going to name this logout. I think this is all we need. For the login and logout. So once we log in, it redirects us to the home page. If we log out, it redirects us to the home page. But our registration doesn't redirect us anywhere. So let's work on that too. As I remember, we imported reverse lazy. So now let's do this like we always do. Success URL. We'll now call reverse lazy. Where do you want to redirect to? We want to redirect to our home. So, oh no, I don't want to redirect to home. Let me redirect to the login. So after registering, it redirects you to your login. Then you try to log in and you can view your home. So let's try that. So let's give it a try. Let's go to our registration and let's register a new user. Let me call you Mike. So I'm okay with this. Mike password. I'll give it a password. Let me give it another password. So let me register. As you can see, I've registered. It redirected me to my login page. Let me change this to login so we know where we came to. Let me call this login. So it's asking us to log in. As you can remember, we have signed in already. We have registered a new user, and the name of the user is Mike. So we can actually come to our admin panel and check if we actually have a user there. So let's say admin. As you can see, we have Alvin and Mike, the new user that we just registered now, but it doesn't have the email and all. But we have a new user already, Mike. As you can see how we did it. So now in our login, Mike can actually type his name as Mike and actually log in. And once you log in, it redirects you to our home page. Wow, we're getting quite along, but you guys can remember, if you are working in a real kind of practical, in a real-time scenario, our registration is not supposed to have a navbar. It's supposed to be a page on its own. No navbar, nothing, even our login. Because right now, this is our login, but we can still click on this and come to our home page. Our registration page is supposed to be on its own. It's not supposed to have any navbar for us to come here, because this is not making sense. If it's like that, meaning I can easily just come to the home or come to add posts without even logging in or registering. So we have to get rid of this. So we have to get rid of that and change our registration page so we can't see the navbar. I think I'll copy a code and paste it there. Let me just do a little bit of copy and paste here. And this is our registration. I think I'll paste the same thing in our registration and our login. So let me do that real quick. So I just copied and pasted that in our login and our registration. It's a little bit of styling that I just did. I don't start styling it here. It's not really looking all that clean, but let's see how it looks like. So let's refresh. But this is just all I want. I don't want to be having any navbar that display my home, the outpost, nothing. I just want to have just this clean page, because this is the proper way to do it. So let's try our login. Let's see how our login looks. Let's just type login here. Click on enter. Okay, nice. So our login page is also looking nice. We just styled it. I don't want to be seeing the navbar on top here, so it's looking nice. Let's go back to our registration. If you want to get the code for what I've been doing since, it's actually in my description, so you can just go there, copy and just paste the codes. You don't need any other thing. So let's try and log in. I think we created a new user and the name is Mike. So let's go to our login page and log in Mike and see if it actually works. We just registered Mike, so let's log in with Mike and let's give it the password. Let's click on the login. Yeah, voila, it's working. Actually, Mike is logged in, but we don't actually know if it's Mike that is logged in or not. So we don't actually know who is logged in. I think I'll be doing that in the next video to know if when Alvin is one logged in or if it's Mike that is logged in. And we need, like I told you guys, I'll be making use of this template, and in this template, this hamburger sign here, once you click on it, you have this login here. So I think I don't want my register and login, I don't want it to be displaying here, so I think I need to move that to that hamburger. So let's go. I think that will be in our navbar. So here in our navbar, we just need to like remove all this, take it back to the way it was. So let's scroll down and look for where that is. I think this is it, login. So let's just give it a URL. So that's all we need to do. Let's just write login. Let's go back and see. So let's refresh. Now it's gone. It's back. So let's go back to our hamburger sign, drop down, and let's click on the login. Now we can see our login page. We can see our registration. This is all we need to do. So in the next video, I'll be adding some restrictions, and I'm going to know who is logged in and who is not logged in. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.